Sifter for the ear.
News, interviews, reviews, cinema, TV, streaming. Action.
Hi y'all, this is Jerry Williams, aka TV Jerry. RVA Documentary is an organization that connects local documentary makers. It went away during COVID and is ramping up again. On Wednesday, August 21st, 7 p.m. at their new home at Studio 23. They're building this first meetup as a laid-back evening of reconnecting, meeting new folks, and sharing ideas with fellow documentary creatives. I'll include a link to their Facebook page on the webpage for this show at tvjerry.com.
We did Armed Forces Radio. We've done the studios for the House Democrats. We've done stuff for Senate recording. We built there for studios. Finishing up doing one for FEMA right now.
That was Alex Martin talking about some of the jobs his company does that are not typical TV studios. Alex is the founder and CEO of Digital Video Group, an industry-leading supplier and system integrator of broadcast and production systems. Our lively discussion includes some interesting facts about going from glass to glass, and he'll explain what that means. But unfortunately, due to scheduling conflicts, we weren't able to drop this show before 804 Day, which we discussed in the show. 804 Day happened 2 days later and was well attended until the rain put an early end to it.
Sifter Review of the Week.
Find Me Falling on Netflix. While suffering through this movie, I literally predicted every plot point before it happened. Harry Connick Jr. stars as a popular musician who retreats to a small cabin on a cliff in Cyprus. The story's only original angle is that people use that precipice to jump, and since mental health is a popular issue, there's a nod to suicide prevention, although the title makes a cruel pun. There's also the inevitable romantic entanglement, but it's sadly predictable too. This film had two possibilities for appeal: the charisma of Connick and the charms of the country. Sadly, neither works. Along with the rest of the cast, he's just meh and barely sings, while the scenery and culture is hardly mentioned. As a result, there's nothing left to recommend. Connick isn't falling, he's failing. I gave Find Me Falling 1 out of 5 stars. So, Alex Martin, welcome to Sifter for the Ear. As you know, your father, Bill Martin, not the one with the ad agency, not the one at the Valentine, supplied me and trained me with video equipment on my first job at Holligmeyer's in 1972, the year you were born, actually, right?
That's first of all, thank you for having me. And yes, I've heard many stories as I grew up about you before we even became friends. So I will refrain from discussing them on this podcast.
Oh, I don't know. I need to hear at least one of the best ones for sure. Come on, tell me a good one right now, and then we'll get to you.
There were so many of them. I mean, it goes back to certain bars that you took my dad to.
Oh, really? I have no memory of that, but I'm sure it was a pleasant experience. So how did you end up in the business?
My dad was in the business for years, like you said, and he had been in the production and broadcast integration and equipment sales side. And so I kind of just grew up in it. And during the summers, when I was a little kid, I was, a lot thinner than I am now, and I could fit behind racks. And I was cheap labor, so they'd have me pull cable and stuff of that nature. So that's kind of how I got started in it. And then after I had graduated high school, I was playing in bands, doing a couple other things. That was my thing. It was going to be the band thing happen. And then the company that my dad was working for at the time, Pro Products, was looking for somebody that, knew computers and stuff. So they asked me to come in and work for a summer because all the new editing systems were starting to go computer based. And I was like, okay, I'll come in for a while, but I got to get my band thing happening. So right. That's kind of how I got drafted in there. And 30 some years later, here I am. So there you go.
What was the name of the band and whatever happened to it?
The band that I played in was called Gone Plaid, and it was a moniker from Spaceballs. So if you ever seen the movie Spaceballs, they end up going plaid.
Footnote.
Spaceballs was a 1987 movie by Mel Brooks that was a takeoff on Star Wars.
It sounded like Dylan and the Ramones got together and wrote porno music is kind of what it was. But we played around for a bunch of years. We ended up opening up for a couple of big bands, and we played down in the bottom a lot back in the late 80s, early 90s and stuff of that nature. And then unfortunately we all had to get jobs.
Obviously, Pro Products you mentioned, but you started Digital Video Group.
Yeah. So back in 2003, there were some changes going on at Pro, and I was looking for going in a different direction. So I ended up leaving, and a couple of people that were there came with me, and I started a company called Digital Video Group because that website was available. So that helped.
Yeah.
That was part of helping the naming of it. And so our primary focus was post production and broadcast, doing the design and building the systems and stuff. And we started off pretty much as a local company doing stuff around Richmond,
Including in my office.
including in your office. Yeah, we put in a number of avids and stuff. We started off pretty much being regional, doing stuff. And then, over the last 20 years, it's expanded. We do stuff, all over the country now.
You mentioned system design and integration. What exactly does that mean?
Basically, in larger facilities, when they want their cameras, their editing systems, their switchers, all the stuff that makes TV. So we basically say we do from glass to glass. So we do from the glass going into the camera all the way out to transmission and everything in between. And we also do all the set technology. So if you look on the sets at like WWBT here in Richmond or VPM or WRIC, all those monitor walls and stuff that you see there, we did all those.
Oh, cool. Okay. So how big is DVG now?
We've got about 50 employees. We're based here in Richmond, outside of Richmond and Ashland. We've got offices up in the DC metro area, Carolinas, and Nashville. But with that being said, we do a lot of national work. Our biggest is probably Nexstar. They're the largest station group in the country. So we do station work all over the country for them. We've done KTLA in Los Angeles, WFLA in Florida, News Nation, which is their network news channel they have now up in New York. We also design systems and build systems for international clients. We built the BBC facility up in DC for those guys. Like I said, we're one of the leaders in the US now as far as design and integration.
You just mentioned some of those. What would you say is maybe one of the coolest stories or one of the coolest installs that y'all have done?
KTLA, that was an interesting project because we had 3 projects going on in LA at the same time, and we had them all staggered. So we were doing KTLA, which is in Los Angeles, KCLA, and we also were building Armed Forces Radio in Riverside, and they were all happening within a 6-month period. We were going to start this project. This one was going to be completed. The next one was going to start. That was going to be completed. Of course, as things never go to plan, with construction companies, we ended up pulling it off. The KTLA thing was really weird because they're on the same sound stage and studio lot that like Judge Judy and stuff like that's on. So we got a chance to go by there. But the challenges that we had with that is that once we got 90% there, we're not involved with the actual structural side, but we deal with set companies, and the set company had been dealing with the station. And probably about like 2 weeks before we were supposed to be there, the owner of the building told the end user that because of the size of the set and because of the size of the LED walls, that they now had to be permanent structures. So the set company had to go in and get a fab company to go in and build all the supporting to be earthquake proof, which needless to say, pushed everything back. And that's why everything ended up overlapping at one time. But it was a challenge, but we ended up winning a couple of awards for KTLA, which was great. We ended up winning the Newscast Studio Award for technology for that, as well as one of the Promax Awards, which was pretty cool.
I know that for corporations and stuff, if they have a video facility or studio, you'll do that.
Yeah, sure. Well, we do a lot for industrial clients, for Fortune 500. Right here in town in Richmond, we built the new studio for CarMax over on Broad Street. So they've got a full production setup there.
Is that on Broad Street?
Yeah, out on Broad Street. Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah. It's a fantastic facility, and they've got multiple studio cameras, multiple editing bays on an Avid shared network that we put in for those guys. The set, our friends at FX Design built the set and did the lighting, and there's a big LED wall and stuff in the studio. No, it turned out fantastic.
I said Broad Street, and I meant Broad Street where the old DMV used to be downtown, not out in West End, right?
Yeah. No, it's right beside. It's
right by Lee's.
It's conveniently located. I know you're a vegetarian, but it's conveniently located by the best chicken place in Richmond. Yeah, and Whole Foods, I think, is
right next door.
We do, like I said, a lot of industrial stuff. We do stuff for Capital One here in town as well. We did the Virginia Lottery set, which really isn't broadcast for those guys. We have a large GSA contract. So we do a lot of federal government. Like I mentioned, we did Armed Forces Radio. We've done the studios for the House Democrats. We've done stuff for Senate recording. We built there for studios fairly recently, as well as finishing up doing one for FEMA right now, too. So,
Oh, wow.
Surprise guest drop in.
I got some more questions, but I know there's another side to you and to Digital Video Group. We kind of hinted at it earlier with the bands. Somebody wanted to drop in and say hello here. Hold on a second.
okay.
And it's Paul Brewski.
Hey, Paul, how have you been?
One hell of a weekend, let me tell you.
Yeah, really, really. Actually, it's Reese Williams, y'all. I guess she's using Paul's Zoom.
Footnote.
Reese Williams is the Chief Communications Officer and Production Coordinator for Shockoe Records, as well as host of Shockoe Sessions Live and This Room Sounds Great. And Paul Brewski is the Chief Engineer at In Your Ear. So why are you on this call? What's your relationship with Alex and Digital Video Group?
Who's that?
Alex Martin.
Who's that person? Do I
Yeah,
know
that guy.
My acting is too good.
Oh,
It
yeah.
really is. It really
We are
is.
cohorts and partners in Shockoe Records, Richmond's coolest record label.
There you go. Yeah, yeah. And also 804 Day.
That's right. Richmond's biggest block party.
And I have to say, I have to apologize. Alex noted me. Last week, I said on the show that it was Saturday and it's Friday. So I tried to correct it, but that was my stupidity. There's something new happening too, right? Y'all just announced a new service, streaming
Yeah,
service?
Sound of Richmond. So say goodbye to Spotify and Apple Tunes and Sirius and anybody else because we're going to be a streaming service that streams local music only. And local is Commonwealth. So
Right.
Virginia musicians.
Cool. How did Alex get involved in the records in the first place?
In Your Ear was, has always been a good customer. And I've known Carlos and Robin forever. And of course, Craig, the other cohort involved with this from the International Mission Board in those days, and they were a customer as well. So
Footnote.
He just mentioned three people. Carlos Chafin and Robin Thompson were two of the founders of In Your Ear Recording Studio, and Carlos has been on the show several times. Craig Martin has also been on the show several times. The last time was to feature the VPM show he co-hosts, The Good Road.
During COVID, talked with Carlos and they had reached out and they said, hey, we're going to be doing this live streaming show during COVID. So I was like, hey, I've got some extra cameras here, got some extra lighting. Maybe we can, patch this together. And that's kind of how the relationship started. And the show was just fantastic. And Reese, I was just like, the first time I watched the show, I was like, who is this character? It was great. She does such a fantastic job. And she really doesn't take enough credit for all that she does.
Before you came on board, our first camera was just an iPad for a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
My camera as a host was the iPad.
So, Reese, what is your point of view about Alex and his involvement in...
He's just been amazing. He's great energy. He follows through on what he says he's going to do, which is amazing.
Right.
He's so boastful about me. I just have him follow me around and say good things about me.
Well, come on, you got to have some dirt, Reese. Come on.
As smart as Alex is, and for all of the finer things in life that he enjoys, I do know he has a hard time purchasing concert tickets. So he was trying to get tickets to Rolling Stones. I think it took him 3 times because he purchased, I don't remember the exact order. He purchased for the wrong location, then he purchased for the wrong date, then he purchased for the wrong number of people. So even with his Amex, let's get these things early status, he still wasn't able to get his tickets as easily as he wanted to.
I did have some challenges there. That is.
So, Reese, tell me a little bit about Shockoe Sessions and Shockoe Records and how that's grown since COVID, actually.
4 years. We had our 200th episode last week.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, we started in June of 2020 for a place for people to be able to play together while wearing masks. We had little tip jars on the bottom of the screen for Venmo and PayPal so people could donate a little bit. And the first year and a half, bands are making several $100s a show. It was great.
Wow.
And then when things started to open back up and bands could perform, we saw those numbers dwindle. So we started having an audience ourselves. So I think we started with 25 and now we have 40 seats. So then, we just started charging a nominal fee. We have people in and we've had 200 bands and I think I have 300 more I could go through. We have through the form submissions. Yeah. So now it's become, as the bands say, when you meet them, it's a rite of passage. You have to be on Shockoe Sessions Live. It's just so neat. You don't have to deal with the fray of a bar, with people bumping into you and all of the chaos. It's a listening room.
Right.
And, the band is 20 feet away. The sound is pristine in the room. It's pristinely broadcast for the streaming platforms, YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter. And we give the musicians afterwards on a hard drive for a fee. We give them all the raw stems and everything. So a lot of them have turned them into live albums, promotional videos. It's just incredible.
By the way, I will put a link on the website for people because
Okay.
anybody can buy tickets, right?
Got it. Yeah.
I'll
Every
put a
week.
link on there too. That's great.
Every
And the records are going well?
Yeah. So then out of that, about 2 years into that, we started to see so many musicians come through struggling as musicians. And so we decided to start the label to help them. I don't know why.
Right.
And so, yeah, we've had a few different bands on our roster. Some come, some go, some move to different parts of the country, but we're a resource hub. We help them fill in the gaps, whether it's marketing, booking, promotion, getting things mixed in and mastered, whatever it might be. But the biggest thing we hear is that everyone's just so grateful they're not going it alone, that they can lean on us and say, hey, I need graphics or I need help promoting this. So it's very beneficial to them.
Well, that's really cool. Reese, I'm so glad you were able to come in and tell us a little bit of dirt about Alex and all the great stuff about Shaco Records and Shaco Sessions. And good luck next year on 804 Day.
Thank you.
The first one we did last year, it was great because it was
fun.
We,
Yeah,
we
we
had
were
no
there.
idea if we were going to be able to pull it off. We did, and the mayor came out
That's
made a
right.
proclamation that it was 804 Day.
Well, Reese, thank you so much. I'll make sure to
Absolutely.
have that link and we'll see you on the sessions.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
You started the business in what year?
So it started in 2003.
And how have you seen technology change in those 20-something years?
Yeah, the weirdest and the quickest one went from the tape to the solid state.
Right.
It took off faster than anybody could have expected.
Just to clarify for listeners in there, back in the old days, we used videotapes like everybody knows. And then suddenly we were using little tiny SD cards to record an enormous amount of stuff. So yeah, it was pretty amazing technology.
The biggest change, I feel like, that's on the horizon right now is going to be the AI. That's really going to be disruptive for multiple industries. But if you look at a lot of the new editorial software, whether it's DaVinci Resolve or Adobe or Avid, they all have AI components into them. That's really going to be a paradigm shift.
Now, LED screens, is that something y'all do at all, or is that something that's...
We're doing that in all these studios. Like I mentioned, KTLA. A CBN has a huge one we did down at Virginia Beach. It's a curved LED wall. So a lot of these LED walls, it becomes a piece of scenic.
Right.
And as you've seen, like in the show The Mandalorian and stuff of that nature, people are using that as a set piece. And in addition to that, people don't even understand that because it's LED, it's emitting lighting too. So it actually becomes a lighting element to the scene. We've got a manufacturer that we deal with called Brainstorm, and Brainstorm does a lot of the virtual reality projects. We've got a couple of projects for the federal government where it's virtual sets, and you have people there and they are looking at the LED wall, and when it comes rendered out, it looks like you're in this huge set and you're in a very small space, and they're able to do that now.
What would surprise people about your business that they might thought, oh, I never thought about that?
One of the things about, our industry too is on my side of it, you can't go to school and get a degree in it. So I've got people that have done production, post-production, and people that have done, are history majors. We have problems finding people to do it because a lot of people don't understand the back end. They just see the television and they understand post. A lot of people, you can edit videos and stuff on your phone, but on an enterprise level where you're dealing with multiple cameras, most of the projects we do now, the cameras are all robotics. So we're dealing with not only audio, video, IT, but we're dealing with, robotics.
Well, then, as you know, because you listen to every podcast, the last question I always ask is, what are you watching?
On the trip on the way out there, I ended up watching Planet of the Apes, Kingdom
one.
of the Apes. So that was pretty cool. It was interesting. You're talking about all the CG and stuff of that nature. It's just amazing how advanced the technology has gotten with the animation and stuff.
Yeah, I mentioned in my review that the performances were really, they really were acting. It was really beautifully done. Yeah.
So it was pretty interesting. I did finish just watching The Acolyte, the new Star Wars.
It wasn't bad.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't, knock it down. I do have The Bear in the queue to watch, so I'm excited for that to come around. I just haven't had a chance to watch that one yet.
This will be the 5th podcast in a row when I've asked that question. They said The Bear, and I'm the only one so far that doesn't like it. But anyway, what's your next one?
and also watched Civil War, which was a pretty interesting take. I don't know if you've seen that yet, but it wasn't what I expected going.
Now, Alec, you never say, I don't know if you've seen it. You're supposed to say, oh, I read your review.
What did you think of it? Did you give it a 3.5?
I think I did about a 3.5. It was an interesting film. I mean, it was interesting because they kept a lot of the politics and stuff vague, so you didn't know.
And actually, I like that because I don't,
that was intentional.
I don't want to hear anybody's politics.
Right.
And I really did like the fact that they had it from the photog's point of view.
Right.
And, you don't really know what politics are. And I was told that actually made it better for me that I wasn't having something pushed down my throat from one side to the other. So,
right.
Have you seen any of the Black Mirror stuff?
Seen it all.
Did you see that episode? I can't remember what the name of it was right now, but it was the episode of the person who ended up becoming into a Netflix series that was done with the AI.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, that was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty good. That was pretty intriguing.
And the first season, they had the one where it came to different places and you could say, okay, this or this, and you could create your own show. They only did it one time. It was kind of interactive. It came to a stopping point and you said, okay, does he do this?
Oh, yeah, I remember that. It was like your choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, exactly. And I did it with every different option just to see how it played out. So that was kind of interesting. Well, I didn't mention it at the beginning, but you and my daughter, Shenandoah, were born in 1972, the same year. And so that means I have known you 51 years, Alex.
And it's been a long time, Jerry.
It has. But I'm so thrilled and so pleased with your business. It has done amazingly well. I loved your father. May he rest in peace. He was a great guy.
I appreciate it.
And it was great to finally get you on the show.
No, this was great. I sincerely appreciate it. Like we've been friends for years, and I just really appreciate you having me on here, and hopefully I can make it somewhat entertaining.
You heard that at the end of the podcast?
I did hear that, yes. I heard that at the end of the last show.
Yeah.
So hopefully...
I knew people were thinking, it's going to be about some equipment, but it was very entertaining, so that worked out.
Good. I'm glad to hear, buddy. I appreciate it. And I do have to see you because I came across a bottle of wine called The Critic. And I bought it for you, and it's been sitting in my wine cellar because we haven't been able to see each other, but I need to bring that.
Great. I look forward to trying it. Appreciate it, Alex. Talk to you soon.
Thanks, Jerry. Take care.
That was Alex Martin, founder and CEO of Digital Video Group, an industry-leading supplier of broadcast and production systems. I'll have a link to their website, plus links to Shockoe Records and the other organizations that Reese mentioned.
Coming soon. In theaters.
Borderlands. This weekend's big movie is based on the video game, and the group of misfits in this action-adventure includes Cate Blanchett, Kevin Hart, and Jamie Lee Curtis, directed by Eli Roth. Cuckoo. Meanwhile, this week's horror entry revolves around a resort where bad things happen, with Hunter Schafer and Dan Stevens. It ends with us. Justin Baldoni, best known as the hot boyfriend on Jane the Virgin, directs and stars in this drama about his relationship with his girlfriend, played by Blake Lively, that turns violent. The Instigators. Matt Damon and Casey Affleck play two robbers whose heist doesn't go as planned. From Doug Liman, director of Bourne Identity, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, and Edge of Tomorrow.
TV and streaming.
The Union on Netflix. Mark Wahlberg stars as a construction worker who's thrust into the spy world by his high school sweetheart, played by Halle Berry. Jackpot on Prime. From Paul Feig comes his comedy action film about a new California lottery with a catch. If you kill the winner before sundown, you get the money. It stars John Cena, Awkwafina, and Simu Liu. Daughters on Netflix. This film has a Richmond connection. It's about young girls who prepare for the daddy-daughter dance with their incarcerated fathers. Hop on Max follows a diverse group of best friends who encourage young children to embrace their individuality thanks to the titular frog who has one leg shorter than the other. Matt Rife, Lucid, a crowd work special on Netflix. The handsome and popular comic works the Charlotte audience. Modern Masters, also on Netflix. A doc about noted Indian director S.S. Rajamouli, who directed RRR and other popular films. The Richmond International Film Festival is coming September 24th through 29th, and since I'll be on vacation the weeks leading up to it, I'm starting to feature some of their films before I leave. Next week will be Breakup Season, which stars Chandler Riggs, who played the son on Walking Dead, and Samantha Isles, who was in Molly's Game. However, I'll have an interview with the director and two of the actors who play Chandler's brother and sister. This is Jerry Williams. Thanks for listening.
For more Sister, including literally thousands of reviews,
Visit tvjerry.com.
That's a wrap.